Look, let me start with something that might feel uncomfortably familiar. You wake up early. You go to work. You do everything you're told you're supposed to do. You work hard. You stay late. You try to be responsible with money. And yet, somehow, it still feels like you're barely moving forward. Bills keep coming. Savings feel slow. And no matter how hard you work, wealth feels like something that always stays just out of reach. Meanwhile, you see other people, sometimes people who don't even seem that much smarter or harder working, getting richer. And you can't help but think, what am I missing? Here's the thing. The biggest lie we've been told about money is that rich people are rich because they work harder. That's not true. Rich people don't work harder. They think differently about money. And once you understand how they think, you can start changing the way money works in your life, even if your income doesn't change overnight. Here's what most people don't realize. Hard work is not a wealth strategy. It's an income strategy, and there's a massive difference. Hard work determines how much you get paid this month. Thinking determines how much you keep, grow, and multiply over decades. According to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American works over 1,800 hours a year. Yet Federal Reserve data shows nearly 60% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency without debt. That tells us something important. The problem isn't effort. The problem is the mental model people use for money. Most people think like employees forever. Rich people think like owners. Let's break this down with a simple example. Two people earn the same salary, same background, same effort. One saves money and leaves it sitting in a bank account. The other invests consistently into assets that grow over time. 30 years later, the difference isn't small. It's life-changing. Not because one worked harder, but because one understood compounding. This is where it gets really interesting. Compounding doesn't feel powerful at first. It feels slow, almost pointless. But over time, small, consistent decisions turn into massive results. That's why rich people delay gratification, not because they're more disciplined, but because they understand trade-offs. They don't ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "What future am I trading away if I buy this?" If this is already changing how you think about money, take a second to like the video. It helps get this message in front of people who need it. Now, here's a common objection. Sure, investing works, but rich people already have money. Here's what most people don't realize. According to Fidelity, over 80% of millionaires are self-made. They didn't start rich. They didn't get lucky. They made boring, smart decisions for years while everyone else chased comfort. Most people use extra money to upgrade their lifestyle. Raises mean bigger apartments. Bonuses mean new gadgets. Rich thinkers do the opposite. They upgrade their assets, not their lifestyle. They let income grow first. Lifestyle comes later. That gap between what you earn and what you spend is where wealth is built. This is where psychology matters more than math. Spending gives instant satisfaction. Investing gives delayed freedom. And most people never train themselves to value delayed rewards. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't eat them today because you understand what they become tomorrow. Rich people treat money the same way. Another major difference is rich people build systems, not just goals. They automate saving. They automate investing. They remove emotion from money decisions. Because motivation fades, systems don't. Fear, greed, and social pressure ruin more financial plans than low income ever will. Rich people feel those emotions, they just don't let them decide. They follow rules. Rules create consistency. Consistency creates results. Here's the real shift. Poor and middle-class thinking trades time for money forever. Rich thinking uses money to buy time. Jobs provide income. Assets create freedom. Your paycheck is fuel, not the destination. And you don't need to quit your job to understand this. You just need to stop seeing income as the finish line. Here's what you can do starting now. Track where your money actually goes. Automate investing before spending. Delay lifestyle upgrades. Avoid debt that doesn't produce value. And think in years, not weeks. Wealth is built quietly, slowly, with consistency. If you find this kind of thinking useful, consider subscribing. Future videos go deeper into money psychology and long-term wealth strategies. The system may not reward effort fairly, but it does reward patience, leverage, and clear thinking. You don't need to work yourself into exhaustion. You need to think better. Because when your thinking changes, your results follow.